Hey, what's up you guys? It's Kim, and today, aka Wednesday, aka February 17th, is my grandma's birthday, so I just want to take a second and say happy birthday, Grandma. I love you so much. And now, on to the video. This week's Top 5 Wednesday topic is the best suggested books that you loved. Now, my friends and my family don't really read that much and don't really read the same types of books that I do, so I don't usually get too many recommendations from them. I'm usually the one giving the recommendations. And the one giving me recommendations is Amazon. Or BookTube, I guess, technically. Because, when people make reviews of books and I watch those reviews and I'm like, oh my god, I need that book. So, I guess that's, kind of like they've recommended it to me, right? We're going to count it that that's recommending it to me, because that's as close as I'm going to get. This first one is more of an author than a specific book, and that is John Green. When I was in college, I borrowed Looking for Alaska from a friend of mine because he was like, oh my god, Kim, you need to read this book, you need to read it, you need to read this now. So I did. I borrowed it, I read it, and I really liked it a lot. Now, John Green is not one of my favorite authors, but I've read a couple other books by him. I have read Paper Towns and The Fault in Our Stars, both of which I liked. They weren't fantastic. This one was actually really boring, and I hated everything about the movie. But yeah, I have liked the other books that I've read by him, The Fault in Our Stars and Paper Towns. They're not fantastic, but they're good, and I'm glad that I borrowed the one and that I read it. Number 4 is the first book in the Maximum Ride series. I was probably about 13 years old when this book came out. And my grandma was a huge fan of James Patterson at the time. I don't know if she still is, but at the time she was this big James Patterson fan. And so was my mom, and so was my grandma's best friend. And so when James Patterson came out with Maximum Ride, and my grandma was like, oh, Kimberly, you need to read this. It's for people your age. I was kind of like, no. Old people read James Patterson. Why am I gonna read that? No. So I don't know what it was that finally made me read that book, but I did, and here we are 9 books later, and I am so glad that I read them, because they're one of my favorite book series Googled at the one time in the entire universe, and I love it so much. Number 3 is Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but I'm kind of dressed like the girl on the cover right now. You see, she's got red lips and this striped black and gray sweater thing, and I've currently got red lips and this black and gray sweater thing. I've only just noticed that. I talked about this book very briefly in my Christmas book haul video. I don't know what this is about. I have literally absolutely no idea at all. But Amazon was like, you're gonna like this. And I was like, okay, Amazon, I'm trusting you. Don't let me down. I absolutely loved it. I read it in one sitting. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite books that I've read so far this year. I'm really glad Amazon recommended that to me. Number 2 is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I don't have it with me right now. It would be here-ish. I need room on my bookshelf because I don't have room for it anymore. But one of my friends who lives down in Florida is borrowing it, and I'm eventually gonna get it back. I hope. So that's a thing. Pierre Ford talked about this book, and I was like, we've got kind of similar tastes in books, so she seemed to love it, so I bought it and I loved it, and oh my god, I am about halfway through Morningstar, and this book, this series, this author, you guys, if you were not reading Red Rising, you need to go read Red Rising. And my number 1 book that was suggested to me that I absolutely loved a lot is Wolf by Ryan Graudin, and I don't know if I pronounced her last name right, but I'm gonna hope I did. I actually didn't even realize that the author was a female until I finished the book and got to this back page here, and I'm like, oh, cool, nice. Amazon recommended this book to me, and then suddenly it was everywhere. Amazon was like, hey, you'll like this. And then and then it seemed like everyone who I was subscribed to on YouTube was talking about it. And if they weren't talking about it, it was sitting on the shelf behind them. And then it started showing up in advertisements on Facebook. And then people who I follow on Tumblr were talking about it. And then people I follow on Instagram were posting about it. Hashtag currently reading. It was everywhere. There was no escape from this book. It was everywhere. So obviously my only choice, if you could even call it a choice, was to buy the book and to read it. So if you want to know who specifically recommended this to me, I guess you could say the universe in general recommended this book to me by shoving it in my face until it was the only thing I could see. And I'm actually super happy about that. And I definitely recommend everyone watching this to go buy this book and read it, or go to your local library and read it, or find a friend who has it and borrow it from them. Just somehow get your hands on a copy, not my copy, and read it. So yeah, those are my top 5 books that have been recommended to me that I absolutely loved. What are yours? Leave them in a comment down below. I read them all, I respond to them all. I love making friends with everyone on here, and yeah, let's keep the conversation going. And that's it. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for being amazing. Go ahead and click that like button and subscribe, and yeah, bye. Love you all.